hear me? Good. Okay, so I'm here today because I'm a young person, and honestly, I'm kind of scared for the future. Climate change is no longer just some set of predictions affecting our great-great-great-grandkids and people in 100 years. It is an issue of now. The time has come that we stop prioritizing short-term economic gain above the environmental and economic interests of future generations. Right now, critical decisions are being made that will have a drastic impact on my generation, yet we don't get to have a say. Port Metro Vancouver is biased, unaccountable, and undemocratic. When you let the private users of the port decide who governs the port, the end result is a corporation that puts profit above the interests of the general public. The supposedly impartial Port Metro Van, it's a member of the Coal Association of Canada, and that seems to speak volumes within itself. The federal government says their job is to operate with broad public support in the best interest of Canadians. I have a question for you. Does this look like broad public support? One thing is for sure, they certainly don't have the support of Metro Vancouver youth. They say that our generation needs it for economic development. But I want to tell them something. That is not the economy that we want for our future. The rest of the world is moving away from coal. It's not in our best interest to increase our local economy's dependence on a fuel source of the 19th century. By investing our money in climate solutions, not problems, like transit, like renewable energy, we can create more jobs and we can leave behind a legacy that we're proud of. So, Kids for Climate Action's work actually started on coal exports back in February, just a few weeks after the Neptune terminals on the North Shore expansion was approved. And we held a rally at the offices of Port Metro Vancouver. We got about 80 high school kids out in 2 weeks. And while high school and elementary school kids chanted, gave speeches, sang songs, and even some elementary school kids skipped rope, the staff of Port Metro Vancouver locked their doors, closed their blinds, and hired security guards to patrol the building. Made us feel kind of important. Okay. And eventually, instead of having someone come out and address us, they let a group of just 7 of us go in and talk to their Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility, which I'm pretty sure is like the job title for the guy who has to deal with annoying little kids. And what we got is that they promised us that we could organize a public forum for discussion of coal export expansion. We thought that sounded pretty good, so we ended up going to these weekly meetings. And after weeks and weeks of meetings, the port canceled this public forum. Why? Because no one from the industry was willing to stand before the public and defend coal exports. A few months later, through some access to information requests obtained by voters taking action on climate change, we learned that the PMV representatives we were dealing with were in close contact with their friends at the Coal Alliance the entire time. Every time we had a meeting, they would send a summary of that meeting to the coal industry. And then the coal industry actually got them to cancel the forum. This is a direct quote from an email between them. The Coal Alliance believes that the large-scale public format will result in a debate of opinions, and that would not be conducive to a constructive and reasonable discussion. Now, it was going to be a moderated conference co-sponsored by the port and us. Attendance was going to be balanced between industry and average people. So I really don't think it was the constructive and reasonable part that they were worried about. I think it was simply they didn't want a debate. It's time that the Port of Metro Vancouver ends their overly friendly relationship with the coal industry and starts listening to the concerns of the public. Now, we want to make sure that the world knows that youth don't want to be saddled with an outdated fossil fuel economy. Now, high schools all around Metro Vancouver, in Vancouver and Surrey and more to come, are passing student council resolutions officially opposing the expansion of thermal coal exports out of Vancouver. As of now, the students of Windermere Secondary are officially opposed to new coal exports. The students of Kwantlen Park Secondary, which is kind of over there and is actually not that far from Fraser Surrey Docks, they are opposed to its expansion. The students of Prince of Wales, Byng, Point Grey, and more to come have all passed resolutions officially opposing new coal exports. It's our future. We deserve a say. Now, the sole reason that this proposal even exists is because communities along the US coast didn't want coal coming through their communities. And soon they're going to learn that Canadians aren't actually any different. This is not going to get through. And you know what? We're battling an industry, and they have a lot of money, but we have a lot of people. They have lobbyists, but we have meaningful relationships. They have dirty fossil fuels. We have love for our kids and for future generations. Most importantly, they have greed, but we have hope. I have hope that we are going to win this. We can have a clean energy economy. We can get action on climate change, but that dream is not going to realize itself. We need to stand up and we need to demand it. So I want you to say this with me. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. Thank you very much.